Oh my god, it's been a long time since like, oh yeah, it actually has been. What's up, Cosmo? Yeah, I know. It's just getting everything set up correct way and everything like that. So it's weird, and that one's not working just right the way I want it to. Let me end that one. Stop that one. Actually, I don't even know if the audio is working. Does it work? Can you hear me? Can I? Okay, I'm testing it out. Yeah, it looks like it's decent. And then let me go and pull this one. That's working. It really has been like, or probably truly like a year or something like that since I last came back on. But let's see if I can get this set up the right way. And to see you again. There it is. Okay, cool. Alright, so let me go and try to get this all set up and ready. Let me go over here and turn this one on also. Alright, so there's gonna be a lot of back and forth. You'll hear a lot of talking, but it's from other streams, chats, and stuff. But yeah, let's get started on this one. Let's turn it over here. That makes it easier to keep track. Alright. And we'll start with the front teeth. Been good. Just busy, just getting everything aligned and in the way that I want it, which is where it all comes down to on why it's taking so long with certain things. Let's see. I want some actual setup wax, and let's see, nothing from over there, and yourself. I know there's a couple people that might even join in because of it's been a while, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's a familiar name." Let me get the fire on. Everything's still going. There we go. Oh, super cool. Oh, that's awesome. Good on ya. Good on you, man. Yeah, that. See how much changes in that whole time. It's crazy. Let's see what I want to do here. I wanted to grab. I guess I'll take these apart. Where is my knockoff wheel? And then, but that's awesome. Congratulations. Hopefully everything's been going well. Still within the first, I would imagine, still either 6 months to a year, which is good. And then hey, what's up? How you doing, Baba? I'm definitely gonna open this occlusion. This is too collapsed. Where else are you live? TikTok. Yeah, TikTok on that one. It's been a while since I came to your live too. Yeah. Well, it's I haven't been streaming for a while, and then I've just been on a real streak lately on TikTok. So that's it's been nice. So that's probably what, 4 millimeters difference. Yeah, 3 millimeters. Alright. And now I got that set, I wanted to get where my new height of my smile line is going to be. Schwooze, your screen is black, bruh? Oh, that's good to know. Oh, you're over there on that side. Yeah, for some reason, let's see, let me see. How do I specifically message that? Yeah, I ran into issues, so scrap Twitch. Let's see if that will work and go over there. I can hear you? Oh, that's weird. Oh yeah, it is still there. I thought I scrapped it. Let's see, why is that not using the right things? I heard, or I saw that it was giving me issues over on that side. Let me see what I got going on over there. I have a question for you, if you would know. And then over there, trying to learn how to solder a metal partial. Oh, so you're trying to solder a little Cobra head metal little post to it? Would you happen to know what I would need to repair? So if you're adding on that one, Baba, a metal post to it, I would imagine using a solder would probably work really good, but using a, what is it called? It's not a tack welder. It's called a, what am I blank? Why am I blanking on it? You'd have to. It's not puck. What is it called? But yeah, I mean, if anything, it depends on like what you're trying to melt to it, right? And the metal partial denture broke in half, let's say. Because yeah, because you don't want to melt the partial in any way or form and such. So usually, because it's made of chrome cobalt, you probably wouldn't get to a normal heating temperature with your torch unless you were using an acetylene oxygen or a propane oxygen mixture. If you're trying to use some type of regular, some type of Bunsen burner flame or a torch flame or something, you wouldn't get to near any temperature to actually melt the chrome cobalt. But to get that post, whatever it's made out of, stick, I'm not exactly sure what it would actually need. I've seen people do it. I've talked to my buddy who taught me or told me how he would do his, but not exactly sure how that myself how to probably do it. But I know what is it? Because you put the electrode on one portion and you put it on positive over there, and you'd use, it's only like MIG or TIG welding, I would imagine. I can't. I get it'd be laser. You'd have the other one that does like laser, and it'll just instantly just get the two metals to melt and solder real quick for like quick little joints, but not sure. And that is unfortunate if the metal actually broke. I mean, that metal is usually tough, but right, with enough torque or twisting or something like that, I would imagine it would just it would break really easy. Yeah, I can't figure out this Twitch side why it is giving an error. Let me go and see if I can run it live again. So let me stop that. Let me start it again. Well, the flux is the little portion to help keep everything clean and help with the clean soldering job. But to get the actual solder to really happen, the actual metals to come together. I'm not sure. I'd have to research and do a little bit of insight myself. That's why I don't work with any metals too, is because I don't want to have to deal with really anything. So that's why I don't even offer to my accounts. That's why I don't offer to my accounts the uh, metal partials or anything. Sadly. What is over here that's kind of muffed up? Maybe it's that. Settings, stream, copy. Yeah, not sure why that's not working. Alright. Well, let's get started on doing this partial. Let's get started on doing this immediate partial and get that going then. Okay, so you don't offer any metal framework. So, yeah, I don't do any metal framework at all. Though, if the office wants to do a metal framework and they supply the framework, they get it made somewhere else, and then I can go and finish it up doing all the tooth settings and processing, then yeah, that's what I'll do. But I don't do any of like, oh, I'm gonna go design it, I'm gonna get it made somewhere and all that stuff. So that's where I stop with it. Alright, so I got everything labeled. Let me get it all going here. And there we go. Bro, I wanted to know, how do you come up with your lab fee schedule? That is a good question. So, thankfully, because I was teaching dental assisting prior to this. I had a lot of my students out in the field, and what I was able to get for them is I was able to figure out, hey, what is your office paying their lab as far for their work? And so I had a couple little spies everywhere, and they're like, oh yeah. Because if you go call those other laboratories that you're essentially in competition with, and they're not gonna let the secret out or anything like that. So when it comes to it all, um, you have to kind of go around them and talk to the offices, um, and to be able to run the numbers and everything. So I got a couple different versions of what they're using, these specific like 3 local labs, and then I was able to get a really, not competitive, because I don't want to undercharge and drive the prices down for everyone else by just racing to the bottom. So I was just like, okay, that's how much they charge. I'm pretty much setting myself up as them. So if anything, if one of these new offices want to use me, all they have to do is be like, oh, well, they're not really that much of a price difference, so let's just try them out. If it doesn't work, then let's just stay with our old lab, and that's cool. Trying to find out what the fee for the DDS, what's the fee for DDS and Glidewell. Oh man, you'll never probably beat Glidewell and Glidewell, Nextdent, all these other, like with Glidewell at least it's still here and made here, but like Nextdent and Dandy and everything like that, no point trying to beat them, because that's just, you're just gonna kill yourself working for really nothing. So definitely I can see that. With Glidewell, they are going to be lower in price, but still too low for probably us normal labs to be able to eat. But Glidewell, I think they have their prices on their website or on their RX sheet on their lab slip. So if you can get a hold of that, then you'd probably be fine. But it really just it really depends. Because yeah, are you down south if I remember right? Are you down south like California? I'm trying to remember. Or were you East Coast? Destroy your walls, I can't never knew it after all. Sometimes you run it somehow. Cause every time I cross the line and I just can't figure out misery when you look at me. Why don't you use an SLA 3D printer? I do have a 3D printer for doing dental things specifically. I have an Accurata Soul. I don't like the quality of 3D printed resin. I don't like the quality of 3D printed resin printers for for the denture base. Tennessee, oh, that's where you're from. So yeah, I don't like the 3D printers resin results, especially because like you 3D print it and everything, and if you just leave it alone at the state that it is and you festoon it and all that stuff in your whatever CAD software that you're using, you can get a look of it looking like C grade, but to get all the rest of the like lifelike looks and the layering that you would want, you'd have to do a lot more staining and glazing and stuff, and I'm not to the point where I want to do that portion of it all and still have a subpar rigidity denture base. So if anything, I would use anything that I would print out would be denture teeth. So it's like, oh, I scan all these teeth, then I'll always have access to 33Ms, or I can go and scan all these teeth and I'll always have access to T35s. Then I can just print out standard carded teeth that I like to use and just use them as normal. So I don't like, and so that's why I like, if anything, I like it for printing teeth, but not for bent faces. I know a lot of dentists who are using Glidewell, so they want me to match their price and deliver quality, better work quality. Well, that's, for one, to be frank, that's fucking stupid. It's like, oh, I want you to drop your price and keep the quality better than what Glidewell is offering. Well, those two life goals are in two different directions. You don't get less in price and higher in quality. Usually they meet, where the quality is going to be higher because of the price that you're paying, and also because I'm local. Unless they have a Glidewell office there at your in your state or probably next door, they're paying for, I'm local, I can potentially do faster turnarounds, I can do communicate. I have great communication efforts with you because we are so local and you're nearby. And also, if there's anything that you need done, or if there was an issue, you talk to the technician, strictly me, not this whole call center with 100 technicians that are working on everyone's different cases. So that's where I don't like it when it comes to these these offices trying to pay less for even better result than a massive lab. Pay me what I'm worth is what they should be doing. Day 3, my dentist office closed. My stitch is coming out. Do you think I can trim the string? Oh, for that. Usually they schedule you out 7 days from when you got the surgery. So you got surgery on Tuesday, as an example. 7 days from that, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when they're going to cut the stitch, because at that point they evaluated that, okay, healing has happened. It has properly been healing. There's no infection. There's nothing that's been getting in there. There's no risk of dry socket. So at that point, anywhere from 5 to 7 days after surgery and placement of the stitch, that it can come out. Of the suture, we call it sutures, but yeah, stitch is what everyone here knows it as. Let me check something. Never let you go again. Okay, so that is working. It's dissolvable sutures. Okay, so that's called catgut sutures then. Yeah, if it's catgut, then it will come out. It'll dissolve on its own, right? And at one point, it'll disconnect and dissolve on its own. And if you try to pull it out, that's the only thing. If you're super dead set on like, hey, I'm gonna take this out. If you see where the knot is, where they actually... Okay, I have a YouTube video on how to do it because I made teaching videos for like assistants and dentists and in training and stuff like that. But I have a YouTube video under the name Dental Things that is removing sutures or removing stitches, and that will show you where to grab, how to pull it so that you don't do it the wrong way. Because as an example, if it dissolved and you still have like a string and you go pull on that loose string, well, over here where it's connected to, there's a knot on that side. You don't want to pull this loose string and have the knot get pulled underneath the gums and tearing through all the different fibers and tissue attachments, and then just wreck yourself trying to pull it out. Grab it by the knot side and pull it out. That's what you'd want to do. Yeah, don't pull against the knot. Yeah, exactly. So if you want to watch my YouTube video on how to do it, it's like one of my popular ones. It's like, I think it's one of my most popular ones, is removing sutures for reasons that it shouldn't be, which is patients doing it on their own. It's for teaching dental assistants and dental professionals how to do it, but you can absolutely do it. You can just get a piece of pliers and do it the right way. Wasn't sure if I can just cut the part that's hanging and just make it, yeah, if you cut the part that's hanging, then it'll just go underneath the tissue. It more likely will be fine. Make sure the tool would be used to sterile. Yeah, and sterile. Yeah, and sterile is kind of the most part. If you can't get it sterile, boil it really good for a good while, so that nothing that had organisms on it is still living. My plastic card has dentures, but they don't fit. Lost her keys and has dentures that won't fit her right. I saw stuff on mine. Does new dentures they got out there work? Not sure what type of new dentures, unless they're saying like 3D dentures. Yeah, 3D dentures can work. I'm not a fan of them, but there are people that that it very well works for. Sadly, because the effort to make a 3D denture is actually a lot less than having to do all the work like we're doing here. They still charge the same amount or even higher for a substandard quality denture, but that's just kind of how the world works. No, the denture, they say you heat them up in water and they fit for you. No, I don't recommend those. They're good if you want to just give it a try and you have a little bit of money to burn, like $200 or something, and you want to try it out. Sure, give it a try, but they won't work well. They're not designed for your mouth. They're not dialed in to be able to bite the correct way. There's a lot of things that are uncustomized about them. That yeah, I wouldn't do it. If it's on TikTok, probably more than likely, more so I wouldn't do it, because they're not customized to you. They're just customized for any mouth that's within this size range. So if you need something for just visually, oh, these I have teeth, sure, but functioning with them, more than likely not. Let's see. I got 3-prong pliers. Can you show how to make my top partial tighter? It's loose. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I got a similar type of 3-prong pliers. This one's kind of worn, so because I've used it for so long. Do I have new ones? Yeah, I do have my new ones. So I have my old ones here that are worn and they're kind of for my hand, and this one's a brand new one. When you go and make a adjustment to your partial, it's very gentle. Like, you're gonna squeeze your hand and you're probably not gonna see it turn. You really don't want to see it like actually move from here to here. It's so very subtle. All right, so let's say I can. So her denture. Recently, I tried repairing 3D denture, and it's temporarily. Anything made by machine will never be as precise. Yeah, especially crowns, right? I got 3-prong pliers. That's what we're talking about. The denture relined. Oh, the denture relined. Yeah, if you get like what is it called, like Dentach or something like that, can it be a soft reline that's temporary? Yeah, that's probably okay, but yeah, if it's something that's temporary, that's not meant to be in your denture forever, then sure. Let's see. Sisters don't do it. Let the professionals do it. Yeah, I would say let the professionals do it. I think you mentioned back before that like a friend's dad made it for you or something, if I was remembering right. But let's say I have my bend, just like that. It'll probably be really hard to see. Hers comes to this all the time, yeah. So let's say I have my bend, my wire that's gonna go around. You're gonna take your 3-prong. I used my old ones. You're gonna take your 3-prongs, and my fingers are the acrylic. That's the pink that you have. You're gonna go and put the inside, and it needs to be tightened. Put the single prong on the inside, and ever so slightly, just give it a little squeeze. Ever so slightly. You don't even want to do a full squeeze, just a tiny bit. And like I mentioned, ever so little, just quick little boop boop. Try it on. Okay, it's not as tight, or it got a little bit tighter, but I would like it a little bit more tighter. There's a couple little just pumps, and with enough little pumps, a little at a time, you might be able to tighten it up. When it comes to going and pulling it back around, you don't easily just go and turn it on, put the 2 prongs on the inside and try to do it. There's not going to be a lot of room. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll go and put the same single prong on the inside, and we'll twist with our wrist. Now the only risky thing is that because it's barely inside of that acrylic, that pink, it might not want to, it might try to break off from the pink. But if you take your prongs and you just slightly twist your wrist, it might give you a little bit of a loosening effect there. And this one doesn't. This one just wants to roll. That's why I use my ones I know work. And you go and just give it a nice little twist. But yeah, try that little pumps at a time. Now, like I mentioned, very, very little. Alright, so let's keep on going with this. You want to put this on. Alright. And, alright, let's go and set that one up. I got that looted. Let's see if I can get this one going. There is no reconciliation. I put you in a place, and there is no place like the same to drink these streaming seconds. Till we disappear, we tell me out. This ain't love tonight. Oh, we have to get this tooth out of there a little bit. Meth, hey, quick question. Is in this process and not sure what my dentist did can be fixed? Can you offer some advice? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just throw out questions. I'll try to answer as best as possible to what you might be going through. Doing your hair, just like sand. Now do you understand? Well, tell me how. This ain't love, then how do we get out? As I don't know, just as you said, I don't hate you, boy, I just wanna save you. Still something left to say. That's how there's I love you, girl. I'm not the answer for the questions that you still have. Whoa, whoa. It's in a complete U shape. Okay, let me set this tooth and then I'll go and take a look at what your question is. Okay. It's in a complete U shape and tons of glue won't even allow it to stay in. What do you do? So then you're saying your upper denture is in a U shape? Or your upper denture or your lower denture? Potentially. And like you said, you're in not sure what my dentist did can be fixed. Oh! I think I might guess what you have going on then. Was it that you had a denture and then you had the whole palate cut out and now it's in a U shape like this? Is that what ended up happening? I don't hate you, boy, just wanna save you. There's still something left to say. Love you, girl. I'm not the answer for the questions that you still have. Top plate never had suction. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. Yeah, that's exactly what I figured. So she kept shaving it in hopes to stop the gagging. So that's the only thing that I hate about when it comes to reducing how much is in the back to make it so that you don't have the gag reflex. Now, of course, there's different levels at when does the gag reflex stop? Because that's why I always tell them is that just shave it back ever so lightly. So maybe we get to that point and then the gagging stops happening. Cool, you still have potential to get all the suction with the palate. You need that palate there and more also the post-palatal seal, this back area, to achieve a suction to happen. But sometimes when people say, can you just cut out the whole thing and make it a U shape, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, I'll just go do that. A dentist should not recommend that. They should not allow that to happen. But a lot of times when it does, and the patient's like, oh yeah, shave that all down so it's just like the lowers and everything, you are now forever a slave with that denture to needing glue and adhesives and everything to keep that in, because now it's fighting gravity. But if you can get it so that you're reduced ever so slightly, only probably like this part is taken off, you might be able to still achieve a suction. Now, like you mentioned, it never had suction at all. That could potentially do I didn't suggest that she did it. So that's also something else, is you didn't have suction at all from the beginning and it also gagged you. That may be an anatomy thing where you might have a really flat ridge of bone where the denture is not able to grab onto anything. Because the best bet that we would always like to have is, you have a really nice bony ridge and your denture can go around and grab onto it. That helps it so from dislodging from left to right when you're chewing and you're sliding your teeth left to right. But when you have a really flattened ridge and your denture's like, hey, I can't hold on to anything, that's where issues happen. And so we can't make a really grabby denture. We have to make kind of like a flat ridge denture, and it does its best to try to grab, but still it can flip out left or right. Like I mentioned though too, is the palate is the main portion on the upper to have suction, this portion and this portion. So whether it was it was never suctioned from the beginning, is this an immediate denture, is this a full permanent denture that you have where you had no teeth to begin with when you started getting your denture made, and now you have the denture. If it's a permanent denture, then a lot of times it's going to be based on your anatomy. If you have something to grab onto without the gag reflex also, and to create the suction, but that's sometimes tough because I'm on the other side and I don't get to know what people's anatomy is, what the denture looks like. Can I request a refund? I'm not sure. That's between you and that business on what action you want to take. But yeah, they would, if they were going to fight it and say, well, and just like you said, you didn't suggest it. She just went and zipped all of it out. Maybe that's something that they can try to get. They can remedy on their own. But yeah, that seems tough all around. If it didn't have good suction, definitely that's something that we could try to fix with like a hard reline. But because we attacked the gag reflex portion of it, and the gag reflex portion trimming out the back maybe got trimmed too much, is there an area where we could add more back to the denture so that you can get that portion back just up to the point where your gag reflex isn't activated? We'd hope that would be the main way to do it. And there is a way to do that, but there is a way to do that. It's a little bit tricky, but your dentist may be versed on how to do it. It's kind of tough. It's kind of, yeah, I would imagine it is a nightmare to have to deal with, but definitely trying to work with them. Trying to work with them is going to be a lot easier to than trying to fight them. Like, hey, if you go in there with a, hey, my denture's not working out, is there a way that we can figure out how to get it to work? And they say, no, there's nothing that we can do. Then, okay, then you are saying that you either aren't competent enough to be able to do this, you don't have the knowledge or skill to be able to do this, essentially being the same thing, or you're just not willing to do this. So, either all, if they lay the line at, we aren't doing anything for that denture, you can do whatever you want. But if they want to be, hey, okay, well, if you're really chill about this and you want to try to get it to work and make it work, maybe they know how to do some skills, or maybe they can consult with their dental lab on how to remedy it. But not sure. I'm on the other side of this. I'm on the outside of this conversation that you're going to be having with your office. Can they modify regular denture into a Snap-on? They can. They can go and make it so a regular denture, they'll go and hollow out, they'll go and do a bite registration on the inside, they'll have you seat it in the mouth when you have the posts on there. They'll see, okay, these are where the posts are. They'll drill a hole through every single one of those post areas so that it's hollowed out and you can see it through the other side. They try it in, they see, okay, all the implants fit through these holes, and then they'll either do a hard reline and they'll pick up those impressions in there, or they'll do a chair side reline and they'll go and pick them up in the acrylic chair side with a light curing material, and that's a way that they can do it too. But yes, they can. Is it some places say, oh, do a whole brand new one and have the implants embedded into there that way? It's up to the doc on what the size they want to choose. I don't think she has any clue on what she's doing, nor the lab. That's unfortunate. I've been working with them since January. That's very recent. If I were to get a contract through my dentist for you to make my denture, what's your time frame? The main thing is when I get the case here, I try to put my hand hour times on there. So it's all dependent on that. If I get the case, I'm gonna go and try to knock out that case within that day or two, depending on what my shelf looks like and what's in the way. But as soon as I give my hour of doing the wax try or whatever it is, then I send it back to them. So I think a lot of the time frame will be fighting the snail mail system on getting delivered from the office, then to get to me, then the office send to me. So as far as how long does it take for me, hands-on time, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to make a denture, potentially a set of dentures. But processing and delivery, that's what puts the brakes on it being super fast back to wherever they are. But it would work. We would be able to do it, and then if you want to see it live stream and have some input on what to do, then yeah, that would be a fun one. How much does it cost to have any snap-in dentures lower to fit tight they are loose? For your snap-in dentures, they have these little inserts that you would put in them. Either they're pink, blue, clear, or if you're on the divergent side of them, they are red, green, and orange or something like that. To get them the new inserts put in there, I'm not sure how much it costs. That's your dentist side. Chair side is better. You get to sit on tissue. It is nice to be able to do it. It is nice to be able to get it to be chair side if the office has the material and they're competent enough. And also they also need to put the little the white gasket on there so that it doesn't slip underneath and lock itself onto the abutment and such. And then also, welcome back. I remember you. How can I get some? Yeah, to go to your dentist. How does my dentist contact your office? They can look up dental things in California, and they can contact, and we can discuss how to go about working with each other on a case that they wanted to do that. And yes, you can always DM me. Can you explain? I got a new set of dentures, and they cracked, and they're not even a year old. So if you got a new set of dentures, it depends. Is it a brand new one where there was no teeth at all on there? Let's say you already had a denture and you just got a brand new one and they cracked. Sometimes if they crack and it's all just dental things in California, okay, sounds great. Yeah, if they just cracked just from normal use, it wasn't like a trauma thing where it fell over or anything like that. It might mean that your bite is unbalanced, so you're putting maybe too much pressure on this side, and this one's not getting the right amount of pressure. So that could be where it's now putting too much force on one side, and it's almost like it's trying to break it in half, like you would break like a stick in half. There's too much flexural pressure that's being put in balance in an imbalanced way. That could be a way that happened. It also depends on how the denture was made. Was it made using a cold cure method? That's one of the weaker ways of making a denture. Is it a 3D denture? That's definitely, to me, a weaker way of making a denture. Or is it a heat cured injection denture or a compressive denture? That's kind of one of the more stronger ways, along with a milled PMA puck. So there's a lot of different variables there, but it's either not balanced in its biting forces, or it's made of a weaker material. But who knows? A lot of times the dentist may know, but even sometimes the dentists don't know how the dentures that are coming back to them are made. Where am I? I'm in California. Alright, so let me go and do this next one here. Baby, I want something else. What I think they were made cheaply made. Yeah, a lot of times I tend to see it done that way where it just is. What's up, bro? Always giving good information. Hey, what's up? I know it's good information potentially, and also on a Sunday or whatever it may be. But it always tends to be on a weird day that people are like, "Why are you working?" I understand. Because I want to work today, so I don't have to work tomorrow. Or tomorrow it's just pickups, unless they want to do like a same-day repair. And what you are saying that could have happened caused the crack in the middle. Oh yeah, so usually when it's like that, when it's unequal bite forces and it's just like snapping a stick, more than likely the stick is gonna snap in the weakest area technically, but a lot of times in the medium of the two fulcruming places. So that's where generally it tends to happen a lot. So that's why I would have imagined and potentially could have happened there. Mondays are always hectic with traffic. Yeah, that too. Dad owned lab for 40 years. Oh, super cool. Another lab adjacent or lab continued lab person. That's always cool. Yeah, especially with Mondays. If I could make Mondays just be just a pickup, and if it's a same day rush, cool. At least I'll make my money off of rush fees and everything with that too. But I like to have my Mondays a little bit more chilled out if it can be. But usually it's always going to be like, oh, patient broke their denture over the weekend. Can you fix it and get it back to them today? And yeah, I can. But they or you are going to pay for the rush. But how's everything going? How's everything in your neck of the woods? Picked up? You got that spring rush? think I need help. I'm drowning in myself. I'm drowning in myself. Let's see. I want to listen to. Let's listen to Serpents. Don't get too close. That place is haunted. Fear not the ghost, 'cause you sent them running. You search beneath the surface, and sparring with the serpent. Nice thing too is I have a buddy that I'm going to give him a bunch of equipment too, so he can start his own lab because I have a obnoxiously weird amount of lab stuff that I've been given over the years. So thankfully I'm gonna hopefully help this dude start his own lab and get him good. And he's not even really competition to me because he lives a little bit further away. So just helping another foo get started in the industry, which is always fun. Got it, taking from the hill, so powerful to stop it. Your name. Actually, I thought I got a message over there. You take me off from. Oh, that's what you're saying? You take me up with my desire, something the angel choir. And fire left me burning. We can do that. Sometimes I'll never be the same. Cause in the victim, she got it. Couldn't find me to stop it. Sometimes I'll never be your name. She sleeps beneath the surface. It's salty with the serpents. She strikes without a purpose. Let's see. Oh, let's knock that one out. Kenji. Oh, blow me away. Let's go back to Halo. Halo 3, I think? Maybe Halo 2? There it goes. How long should dentures last? Anywhere from about... They would say anywhere from about 5 years to 7 years or so. Now, if the cusps of the teeth are still nice and good, if the acrylic, if the fit of the denture is just a little bit loose, you can get the inside relined and you still keep the whole denture. It's just almost like doing an oil change in your car. It just fits better. The teeth though, if they're weirdly worn flat, it's probably best to get a better denture so you can have a nicer bite and chewing force. But if they're still really cuspy, and because you don't grind or you don't brux or grind your teeth and everything, you can still just making it fit better on the inside. You can make it last for a long while. I lost my front teeth when I was 9 and 68 and have worn a partial ever since. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Definitely cool experience to be able to have from your point of view from such a young age to now. It's almost like you learned all the tips and the tricks and you can hand off a lot of that information to people. Even though it does suck, definitely. But it's cool. Very good for everyone who has given me a smile back from the last 6 years. Oh, that's a nice thing. That's a good, nice way to look at it. Only I will walk alone. It's time to run, blow me away. Does the button? No clue. If you take it off, show me the way. Only the strongest will survive. Lead me to heaven and where was I am the shadow on the wall. I'll be the one to save us all. Are giant orbits a problem? Not sure. What state am I located in? I am in California. I like that. Health and Wellness Advisor. Super cool. Or neat name. Where are you located? I need new ones. I have mine about 18 years ago. So with that, my location isn't really like the main thing. It's the location of your dentist and where they're willing to use a lab that's out of. So if they're willing to use a lab that's out of California, then that's then they could use anyone. They can use any lab anywhere. It just is up to them on how far or how long they want to deal with either snail mail. If they're working with a large corporation lab like NextDent or Glidewell, they're already used to shipping and getting stuff back. But if they're working with their local laboratories, which is usually a thing that tends to happen, is working with local labs, their turnaround time is going to be probably fairly quick, and that's good for the patient, for the office, for the lab. But it's always different depending on where you are. It's always different depending on the office. Does the bottom teeth always look smaller? I think mine are too small. Sometimes it can be. Yes, they are always smaller. Like as an example, if I was to go and have like these teeth, usually like the central should be about 1.5 of the little ones on the bottom. So if I go and put them up next to each other, it's about 1 and maybe like it's about like 1 1/8. So usually should be somewhere along that line. You can get requested to have wider lowers there, and sometimes there's room to be able to do that, and that's where it all depends. It's like if these were too wide, it wouldn't fit correctly in this arch line to make it work, but everyone's different and their expectations of it is going to be different in the end. So it just depends. What about if you have an overbite? If you have an overbite, overbites are are normal. If you have a slight overbite, usually that means 1 millimeter covering, 1 millimeter out, and that's usually what's normal. If you have somewhere where it's super covering a lot, then at that point we look to, okay, well, if it's biting down and covering too much, are we able to open the bite a little bit so that it gives us a little bit more room? But as far as like where things stand based on anatomy, that's usually our guide on where we want things to be. If you go outside of the guide, funky things can happen, and we don't really like that much, but sometimes we have to follow a funky pattern. Denture is yellow, and I did not pick that color. So the denture acrylic is yellow. Usually if the denture acrylic is yellow or the teeth is super yellow, denture acrylic should just be like a standard original pink. That's kind of where we go. And then for people that have, what's it called? People that have, like darker gums in a way, pigmented gingiva, that's what we call it, pigmented gingiva. For it's like darker gums where we're going towards more of like the purples and a little bit of the black area for the gum tissue, then we can characterize that or use specific Mahari, what we call shade. But when we go for like the yellows, the only time I ever like want to use like a yellow tint or something is because I'm trying to repair a yellowish denture and match it. But that's kind of a little too much. Yeah, I got a big overlap. Gum color is not natural looking. Pigmented. Yeah, exactly. Pigmented. Yeah. And I was seeing that you were sharing the live, and I was like, oh, this must be a dental professional of some way, which is good. Love it whenever my dental either assistants, my techs, my dentist, my hygienist, or my front office staff comes in and sees what's going on. Not at all, but super continent. No, super cool. Love that. super into it. Love it. That's super funny. I heard she told us that I couldn't take a sickness or airplanes falling out the sky. Let me see. I want something a little bit more harder. Let's do free. Free's a cute one. Let's see. Get this puzzle piece in place. And there we go. I know this is going to be a slow song, but it's cute. I like it. Of course, the kids. But we will rock on sooner right after that. Here we are, and finally breathing. Feels so good, but they're good for me. And hoping saved, and hoping changed, then it won't. Maybe not by my side. What does it feel like every time I let you in? I can tell you anything. These are secrets I keep me in chains. Is this dangerous? It feels like it's dangerous. From the dark side. My bottom denture does not align with my skin attached to the lip, if that makes sense. So does it make your lip stick out because it pushes? So like your bottom teeth and such and denture is more pushed out, so you have like more of a sticking out bottom lip, or is it more sunken in and your lip collapses with it, and collapses and folds in with it? Overall, it's an arrangement thing. So it's, did we go by anatomy, or did the dental technician just not line it up the way that it would probably be better as? Because every time we do it, every time we align it and try to make it, when we do the wax try-in, where teeth are in wax and things are still being tested out before we approve it, at that point, it's important to notice all these things. Even though, as a patient, you don't know what you're looking for yourself until you've been using it for a couple days or so. But usually at the wax try appointment is the most important part before we finalize and say, yeah, let's get this to processing. Let's get this finalized. If we can't face it. Alright, let me go and yeah, let's go get this one out. Let's do a little bit of adjusting.